How you doing, guys? I'm Carlos Rosado, and I chose to explore the now ever-present topic of police brutality that's so widespread on the news these days, from the point of a man named Niccolo Machiavelli, a 15th century philosopher, writer, and politician. Machiavelli wrote many things, but he's most known for writing The Prince, a political satire that can be viewed as a handbook for any corrupt leader to stay in power regardless of their true motives and if they care for the people at all. Now, I'd like the record to show that I do not share this view. I just found it interesting and I wanted to explore it more with this concept. I would like to use the excerpt from The Prince as a basis for this discussion. It reads, "In the actions of all men, especially princes, where there is no recourse to justice, the end is all that counts. A prince should only be concerned with conquering and maintaining a state, for the means will always be judged to be honorable and praiseworthy by each and every person, because the masses always follow appearances and outcomes of affairs, and the world is nothing than the masses." We commonly think of this idea as the end justifies the means. In the world of ethics, this view can be most notably equated with egoism, the theory that oneself is the motivation and goal of their actions. If we look to the constant new footage being given to us regularly of police violence and apply this idea, the motivations of events become easier to understand. For the sake of this argument, let's break down what a police officer is and the responsibilities that come with their title. Their major job description is to protect the public. This is performed in a variety of ways, from the micro, like patrolling local neighborhoods, to larger situations like stopping robberies and investigating murders. Training for police is rigorous. They graduate after months of intense physical fitness, self-defense, and firearm training. They are taught to negotiate with citizens and criminals, but in the back of their minds, they know, if need be, that they have the power to take a threat down. They spend countless hours on the job, which tends to pull away time from old friends and family. In fact, police tend to lose interest in outside friendships after a while, choosing to spend more time with officers instead. Through this bond, the police force becomes more of a faction than regular citizens with a badge. I believe it's easy to develop a higher purpose mentality this way, seeing yourself more as a savior of the people and authority figure than a commoner. PoliceLink.com, a community blog for police officers, has a post on avoiding the us versus them mentality that's developed over time. In it, a Dr. Ellen Kirschman states that the average cop will see more human tragedy in the first 3 years on the job than most people will see in a lifetime. This is a preconceived understanding for police officers. They are going to come across danger and they need to be able to react quickly. And that's another key element in the ongoing police violence debate these days. Each officer, once they graduate, is given power. They still have higher-ups that they need to report to, but they can be considered self-governing bodies within day-to-day activities. Through this transformation, the officer has to learn how to function in and manipulate their surroundings. This can take place in a number of ways, but studies show that it's much easier for a Machiavellian. Psychology Today has an article which states 5 traits generally attributed to a Machiavellian, one of them being, and I quote, "They prefer to use subtle tactics, charm, friendliness, self-disclosure, guilt when possible, to mask their true intentions and provide a basis for plausible denial if they are detected. However, they can use pressure and threats when necessary, and I'd like to add, they can also use force when necessary." In the Machiavellian approach, when a police officer takes someone down, even if he or she knows that it'll be viewed as by the public as functioning impractically and overreacting, they are still well within their right to power. Now, if we continue to apply this rule to the world of law enforcement, we have to look beyond the centuries and take a look at the establishment that backs them. Our branch of law enforcement is a titan, and a titan knows when it's in power. This power is not only present in the cops on the street, but also those connected to him or her. Now let's deconstruct the scenario that nowadays plays out time and time again. A tragic incident involving a police officer takes place, the officer is put under investigation, is usually given a slap on the wrist, and the media moves on with another juicy police abuse story on the horizon. And they are not one for lack of stories. So far in 2015, according to the Washington Post, 385 people have been fatally shot by police across the U.S. Now, most of these people were armed, but 1 in 6 of them, in this case 65, were either unarmed or holding a toy that they mistook as a weapon. Most of those officers were not indicted. So if an institution like the NYPD knows that it essentially has the power to terminate people if necessary, and it's considered the watchdogs of the public, you've got to believe that they will do anything in their power to shield their name, even if an officer is out of line. They will do what they have to do to protect him because they know otherwise too many people, excuse me, too many holes will be poked in their system, and the common people will begin to see the police as weak. If the police are weak, then our citizens may decide to rebel and overthrow, destabilizing the structure of our country and causing chaos. Now, this is a rational fear, and more than likely a true belief, but with it there's a natural byproduct for overconfidence in one's division. So the justice system sees itself as a key element in the framework of everyday issues. It understands it has a stranglehold on the public and uses its power accordingly. For years, the police control strategy has been mostly smooth. Analog media was capable of being tampered with before the story broke out publicly. That's a perfect setup for an institution to sway the masses appropriately. But the digital age has proven to be a worthy adversary for police of this generation. Every move they make is able to be captured on almost any mobile device at any time. Smartphones today come with high-definition cameras and screens, and can be recording someone without their even knowing it, depending on their position. And this is something that can never be regulated. Videos can be taken in and out of context, capturing a police assault. They can be uploaded to the internet, and there you have it, proof of an incident. And the fact of the matter is, these days people want to catch the police doing something they shouldn't have done. In a recent study posted on theroot.com and pulled from social media and drugabuse.com, over 47% of citizens give their police precinct either a grade D or F in an A through F rating system. That's very low. The national average is currently a D. In fact, the headline of the article is, "Almost half of Americans hate their police department." This is telling information in regards to where the shift in power is currently moving. New media, the new titan, has not only allowed people to state their opinions, it has allowed our citizens to unveil fact before conventional media outlets even think about the story. These are all themes that we've covered in this class. The power of social media is game-changing. So where are we now? With a new story every day, the police are basically struggling to put out fires. They are constantly being put under the microscope, and it isn't working in their favor. If we channel all of this back to Machiavelli for answers, I think this would be something along the ends of his response. In order for law enforcement to keep the power that it's gained, it will need to use charisma to sway the media into thinking everything they do is for the people. They will need to hold events such as charities for urban areas, or to get to know your officer's day, something along those lines. Different things that will allow them to be persuaded to be trusted again. On the low, they'll need to find a way to expunge all videos that end up online about them. This is extremely difficult to do, as it asks for laws to be created specifically for the protection of police on the internet. But I'm sure with the right strings and the right amount of funds, anything can happen. I believe Machiavelli would have scoffed at the police, looking at them as fools for allowing their actions to be so transparent. He would have believed that there should have never been a shift of power in the first place, and if we're left up to Machiavelli, things would get ugly, because if the ends is equal to cops staying relevant and keeping the control they've gained, it's by any means necessary. Now again, I know that a lot of this is heavy-handed and it's an extreme view, but with such a dense topic that's leading to civil unrest, I think it's important to consider the situation from all sides of the dice. I hope this has been somewhat thought-provoking. I thank you for your time, and take care.